Right now, COPE Acting General Secretary Erick Mohlapamaswi joins us, as well as the suspended Secretary of Elections, Mzwandile Hleko, to unearth this particular issue and what is actually behind this report. Gentlemen, good evening. Good to have you. Thank you very much for your time. Mr. Mohlapamaswi, let's begin with yourself. You are in contact, I assume, with Mr. Hleko, and you would be able to have for us details as to what is actually happening here. Was COPE registered by Mr. Hleko and others at formation in 2008 as a company?
Yeah, thank you very much, Thabo, and I would like to send my gratitude to yourselves and the viewers. And truly speaking is that, yes, it is true that Congress of the People was registered as a company. And then it was for the reasons that if you look at the COPE logo, the logo that you see, it has a TM, which is a trademark on it. And so for you to trademark a logo, you need to register yourself. So that is why Congress of the People was registered as a company in order to trademark. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and did it do any trading as a company, or as you said, it was purely for the purposes of owning the trademark?
If you look at the registration of a particular company, it's a non-profit. It was a non-profit organization. It was an NPO, and as an NPO, it doesn't generate any income. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been registered with the IEC if we were for profit making. So, yes, Congress of the People was registered as an NPO in order to trademark. Thank you.
All right. And why is the CIPC now deregistering COPE as an NPO? What did you not comply with?
Yeah, the truth of the matter is, for each and every company that is registered, it has to fulfill certain requirements. And amongst other things, it's, you need to pay a yearly amount to CIPRO in order for you to keep your registration. And so, unfortunately, because of the challenges that we had in the organization, the leadership, including the treasurer, couldn't pay and couldn't follow up with CIPRO in order to make sure that our non-profit organization has to be renewed on a yearly basis. So that is a challenge, and it is not a secret to say those challenges have been seen, because they were even in the news with regard to our failure to submit the audited financial report to the IEC and such. So we had challenges, and the new leadership that is being put here in collaboration with the old leadership, we are working very hard to make sure that we put things in order. So our house is busy being cleaned as we speak. So we will be fulfilling all the requirements as needed, and we'll have to make sure that we follow on with the CIPRO so that we can do re-registration, so that the trademark can be saved and the logo can be saved as an organization.
Yeah, and what do you make then with this view that a majority of members of COPE would not have been aware of this particular matter of COPE being registered as a company? Is it something that would have been spoken about openly in meetings, very transparent about it, that you have followed this particular route?
It's a general knowledge that people should know that there are laws in South Africa, and those laws need to be adhered to. So for you to trademark, you need to make sure that you follow the laws. And so we did to follow the laws. And it is surprising that some of the leaders are saying they were not aware and all those other things, because these things were known to us as leaders and as founding members of Congress of the People. And so I'm surprised that our national spokesperson has said that he's surprised that COPE was registered as a company.
Yeah. The other thing that is out there, which I want clarity on, is this view that says the company was deregistered by CIPRO because Mr. Hleko did not comply with the Companies Act as the accounting officer?
I wouldn't say Mr. Hleko, because Mr. Hleko does not work as an individual. We work as a team. You know, if we're the Congress Executive Committee, we work as a team. And then within the Congress Executive Committee, each member of the Congress Executive Committee has a responsibility. So the person who has to make sure that things are done, financial obligations are met, it is the National Treasurer. So unfortunately, you know, we had challenges with the National Treasurer, and that which we are busy fixing, so that we can be able to move forward as an organization.
All right. Mr. Hleko, let me bring you in now to the conversation. I'm bringing you in here because Mr. Bloom says he was made aware of this via a lawyer's letter that was brought to him, I think, by yourself and Mr. Madisha, or one of you at least. How do you come to get a hold of that letter, and why is it coming up now?
Well, thank you very much, Thabo, and your viewers at home, and good evening, Comrade Erick. What happened was that last year we had discussions in the Organizational Division Committee, chaired by Mzwandile Hleko. And many of these issues were raised there when he ended up writing letters to some members to check whether they are still members of the CNC. So these things were discussed there. And he kept on to say to us he's going to attend to these issues, because I was always raising the matter to say who is the owner of the Congress of the People in terms of this registration. Because some of us were aware, because I was there from the beginning in COPE, were aware that the company was registered as an NPC. Now, what happened, he keeps on to say he's going to address these things. He never addressed them. When we wanted to ask about him not being able to table financial reports from Parliament in the Congress National Committee, he said he's going to address this. He has never addressed those issues, but what happened, there was a serious tension between ourselves, members of that committee, chaired by him. There were serious problems where he went out and decided to operate outside the collective. And that led to a situation where some members of the CNC felt that we must move a suspension on him because he has failed to account on a number of things. That is where the whole process started of the Congress of the People. Then since then, right through, he decided to have his friends, both Erick and others, to mobilize them against us. Even those who were raising issues, like Takes the Khetsi, for instance, who will always raise an issue to say, we have never seen a financial statement in the Congress National Committee. What is happening?
So let me understand. Because of that unhappiness, did you approach the lawyers to do this investigation? How does it come that this particular matter is being raised this way via this letter of the lawyers?
Okay. When we were challenging the local standing of the committee that fired us, then we had to check many things. Then our lawyers went and checked and find that this one was also another issue that can be picked up, because now we're not aware that we have not complied with the requirements of the CPIC. That was the challenge. Now, as responsible leaders, we had to write a letter through our lawyers to Parliament and also to the IEC to say this is the situation that we find ourselves in, that our party was deregistered on the 30th of March, which means all the decisions that we have taken from that date right through are not having any standing. So that is how it ended up being on the media and so on and so on.
Yeah, but the IEC says, as far as they are concerned, the party is still registered as a political party, which means it still meets the obligations of registration with the IEC as a political party.
Well, we agree with them, because there are areas that the IEC can deregister you if you have not done 1, 2, 3. So IEC in their press briefing today, they indicated that COPE has complied. We agree with them. But that does not remove the fact that the COPE has not accounted, has not reported to the CPIC on the other side, which is the area where COPE is being deregistered. Because remember, we are talking about the Congress of the People that claims to be unaccountable, democratic, and so on. Now, if we cannot account on issues like those, then it raises many questions about us. And if we are not able to take the members of the party on board on issues like these, as you have asked a question, where members of the party are aware whether this Congress of the People is a registered company. Dennis Bloom raised it as our spokesperson to say, no, it was never discussed in the Congress National Committee. He's not aware. He only got shocked when he received the letter from the journalist that was sent to the IEC and Parliament by us. Now, that is what has happened.
Right. Mr. Mohlapamaswi, what are you doing then as far as this question of accountability on these matters?
Well, there are some corrections that I would like to make that spoken by Mr. Hleko. Mr. Hleko is alluding that the deregistration of Congress of the People with CIPRO, it's a factor that has to be driven to Parliament and to the IEC, which is very irrelevant. So it's lack of knowledge on his side that the matters that were put in the media were put the way that they were put. So COPE is a political party. And it will remain a political party as long as it fulfills the requirement of the IEC. So the one of the Parliament that they were doing, that is the CIPRO and the like, it's something else. And so I'm surprised that, leaders who are claiming to be leaders don't have such kind of basic knowledge. Yeah, so it's a surprise to myself.
Well, I mean, the question of audited financials is key, isn't it, for the parliamentary processes as well, for all parties?
Absolutely. It has been our concern. It has been our concern. The president does not do audited financial statements. The person who do audited financial statements, who make sure that books are audited, is the National Treasurer. And the National Treasurer has been on leave with Hleko and Madisha. And so Madisha is a chief whip was the chief whip in Parliament. So he failed in his responsibility to execute that, books are audited. And even the National Treasurer. So the issue of the National Treasurer, it's something that we are still working on. We know and we accept that, we did not do good. And the Congress Executive Committee that is busy working on now has finalized the auditing of books, and then the audited financial statement may be released at any time.
All right. Because
we have been working very hard to make sure that we adhere to the requirements of the laws of South Africa, which is to make sure that the books of the organization are audited.
All right.
So I want to put that in perspective, that we are correcting all the wrongs that the previous leaders committed in the organization.
Let's leave it there. I'm out of time. Much appreciated, gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming on, and that clarity there that has been brought on the question of where the people, COPE, Congress of the People, is sitting as far as deregistration with CIPRO and with the IEC.